Well, Alex was a member of the 2290 Cadet Corps, which was a corps that was sponsored and affiliated to the British Columbia Regiment. And it was the first cadet corps in British Columbia, actually, 101 cadets at Prince George High School, or King George High School in Vancouver. And Alex joined at the age of 13. And he was an outstanding young man right from the beginning. You know, he showed all sorts of leadership qualities, and he was bright, he was committed, he was very articulate, and he just devoted to wanting to do things military. And his sister Isabel told me on many occasions of the things that he used to do at home as a young fellow, and even before he joined cadets, he would draw pictures of tanks and airplanes, artillery pieces, and anything military that he thought was military. And of course that inspired him and became a passion with him. And so eventually he, at age 13, when he'd aged out at that age, he joined the 2290 BC Regiment Cadet Corps that paraded at the drill hall in Vancouver. And he spent 3 years in the cadets, and his leadership qualities and his abilities moved him ahead very quickly, and his devotion to the cadet movement. And he loved the training, loved the morale. It was just more than he'd asked for, you know. And they were on an exercise on the Vetter River. There was a rafting or canoeing exercise, and the water was a little on the high side at the river at that time. And they were going down the river quite fine, no problems. And then they came around a bend in the river, and they bumped into a series of trees that had collapsed into the river because of the high water. And the raft or canoe hit that and was upturned, and Alex was dragged underneath, and he was caught on some of the branches under the trees in the water and drowned. And so it was a pretty terrible thing to have happen. It was really difficult. And Graydon Young was a corporal in the regiment at the time, and he was assigned to the pickup of the boys at the bottom end of the river where they were going to finish the rafting exercise. And of course they never came. And that's bothered Graydon all these years, you know, that happened. And so today, with the dedication of the bench, it's made him feel a lot better, and it's sort of that what they talk about closure now when someone passes away. Well, that's done it for him, and I'm really pleased for him. You know, he's a great young man. But Alex was an amazing young guy, you know, and he came to camp here and showed his leadership abilities, and was given the position of the camp commander on the final parade and promoted to lieutenant colonel. And that would be in 1976, June or July, I guess it would be. And then he came home to Vancouver and was promoted to chief warrant officer in the Corps, 2290. And then the following June, they were on this rafting exercise when he lost his life. But he was an outstanding young man, and one that everybody really, really loved, you know, and looked up to and admired. And we all felt, you know, he was the kind of young fellow who's going to go somewhere and really do something for Canada and for himself and his family. And it's just really sad that he lost his life, because he was truly a fine young Canadian and would have been a real value to Canada and Canadianism. Well, after Alex died, at the regiment, I was still CO, and I thought we need to do something to memorialize this young man and all the things that he stood for. And he did like to shoot, and he was good at it as well, of course. And so 2 or 3 of us talked, and we said, let's do a shooting trophy, and that would memorialize, and we can see if the camp would take it and dedicate it, and present it every year with their shooting program. So we designed a team match that was I think it was 5 members on a team, 4 or 5. I've just forgotten actually, but it was a 22 caliber trophy at the time. And the other thing that we did, we had to build the trophy. So I thought, well, and I've got all kinds of ideas and things, and so I said, let's get it's a number 7, not C7. Sorry, that's right. No, C7 is the thing they're shooting nowadays. Yeah, number 7.
Number 7.
Yeah, it's the number 4 Mark I star rifle, but it's just 22 caliber. And so anyway, we decided to do that. So I went and got one from Alexander's house. Actually, I phoned up and spoke to Isabel, and she was just a young teenage girl at the time. And so I told her who I was and what I wanted, and she said, yes, it's here. And so she said, come and pick it up. So I went over to her house and picked it up, took it home. I stripped it all down, cleaned it all up, and then I built a base for it and had a plaque made saying what it was, and that's on the thing today, the same one, and our BCR RCACC badge. And then the other thing we did is we decided, since it was a team match, that we would present every year little trophies, individual keeper trophies for the shooters, which we did for a number of years. And then and that's what happened to it. And then I think it was stopped for a while. Maybe I don't know for what reason. And now they've reintroduced it again. And now I understand that it's actually for the top shot for the camp, which is really neat, because that's singular, and Alex was a singular sort of guy in a way too, you know. So it's sort of really fitting, and so that's the way it is.
Now, did you personally built this trophy?
Yeah, I did. I built my workshop at home. Yeah. Well, I built lots of trophies, and I made all the plaques. I have jigsaw. I got lots of power tools, and I built all the jigsaws, and I got BCR RCACC badges and put the little shields on them and that sort of thing. And then we bring them up here and present them.
How does that feel, knowing that this is a trophy that's still being awarded all these years later?
It feels really good, you know, that something that was very, very meaningful and represented an individual is still being carried on. Because, you know, it's easy over 25 or 30 years to forget that and it drift off into something else. But this is very meaningful, and it's really meaningful now, and that we have the bench for Alex, dedicated to him, and we will remember him. And it was interesting when you were up when they dedicated the bench for Roy Rigby Jones last year. A number of us came up because we were here on a veterans conference here that we have in our own regiment, and so we came up and watched that, and that sort of got us going. We spoke to Colonel Copan and talked about the benches, and I said, how come there's one here for Malczynski? And he says, oh. So we talked about it, and one thing led to another, and so he said, would you like to do that? And we said, the association wants to do it, and we will do it, but we need your help, because it's obvious we've got to have some help from the camp and get permission to have it done here. And so that's what happened, and Terry worked fastidiously to get the thing done, did all the groundwork for us. All we did was just say, hey, this is what we want on it, and this is what we'd like, and we're willing to pay for it, and which we did, of course. And so it just went in here today. We've dedicated a magnificent, beautiful bench to Alex's memory. And with his family here, just absolutely meaningful, you know, just wonderful, wonderful feeling. It's as they say nowadays about closure, that's what it is, you know, it's there. And so we're delighted, and we're honored to have been able to do it for Alex. Yeah. As I said in the little talk I gave, and I apologize for waiting 30 years to do it, but those things happen. And it becomes very meaningful now anyway.